Greetings, this is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct this evening from Black Facts Headquarters Central. Greetings, greetings, greetings. We hope everybody's doing real fine because we're feeling fine as wine in the summertime. Oh yes, and summer's not quite here yet, but spring is with us. Spring has sprung. And while we're speaking of spring springing, or spring being sprung, please don't forget to do what you know you need to do. Number one, give us a like. Number two, a thumbs up. And number three, please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel for Black Facts. In other words, the Tubular Black Facts channel. Subscribe. Right now, you can do it. It's easy and it's painless. Thank you very much. And we promise it won't drain you, because we don't want it to pain you. Absolutely. Meanwhile, let's do our proverb for the evening. Proverb for the evening is Penye Niapana Njia. Penye Niapana Njia. Where there's a will, there is a way. Where there's a will, there is a way. So let's just put that one right on up in there. Where there's a will, there is a way. All right. And we hope everybody out there is having a good day, just like us. Meanwhile, we're going to be reading some more from our book right here, Never Caught, the story of Ona Judge, an enslaved African woman on the Washington plantation who escapes the clutches of George and Martha Washington. That's right. I said it. She escaped their clutches. Yes, because you would not want to be in the clutches of the Washingtons. It was not a good time. And I hope you all were able to see the video that we shared earlier. We shared a link to a video earlier today and yesterday. We did part 1 yesterday, part 2 today, called Under the Stairs. And it was a video about the servants in England, because their story is related to our story. To some extent, it was happening simultaneously, although their story would go back even further, because you had those serfs that were tied to the land, and you had the nobles, and you had the whole hierarchy and everything there, the feudal system, etc., etc., etc. All that goes back pretty far. But this story of the servants that we saw started in they went back to like the 1700s, I believe. 1700s to the 1800s. So that's the same time period we're talking about here with Ona Judge. So what was happening is that there was a system set up in America that enslaved black folks, while at the same time in jolly old England, they began to create a system that would enslave white folks to a certain extent. Not exactly like our situation. And that's what I wanted to give you all an opportunity to compare and contrast the lives of an English servant with that of an enslaved African in America. So today's chapter 14, A Granddaughter's Wish. Let's see. Martha was going to turn 65 years old in 1796, and her life, as privileged as it was, had also hardened her. Okay. After all, she had lost all 4 of her children and her first husband. She had moved to the north when she considered herself completely a child of the South. And she had married a reserved man who had become the first president of the United States, which meant she would either have to travel all over the place just to see him or stay home without him. She also had to carry the burden of the multitude of social events required of the president and his wife. Dinner parties and other gatherings, entertaining important people from America and around the world. On the surface, this was not difficult for Martha. She was a masterful hostess, always gracious and witty, but in private, Martha was unpredictable. Some days she would seem easygoing and patient. Other days she would snap at the slaves because of an accidentally overcooked meal or a candle not being instantly replaced. Ona had learned over the years to work alongside Martha even during her moodiest days. She had figured out how to tolerate Martha's outbursts by remaining calm at all times. It seemed that Ona had made some kind of peace with the future laid out in front of her. But then the most unpredictable of emotions, love, oh no, changed Ona's life forever. It was 1796. Martha Washington was consumed with planning a birth night ball to celebrate George's 64th birthday on February 22nd. This meant that Ona was also consumed with all the preparations, perhaps cleaning and hemming whatever dress Martha wanted to wear to the party. Ona may have had a needle in hand, the dress on her knee, when the letter arrived. It was addressed to George Washington, although Martha's eyes would have widened when she recognized the writing. It was from her eldest granddaughter, Eliza Curtis. Ona would have remembered her too. Eliza, about 3 years younger than Ona, the spoiled brat. George and Martha read the letter immediately. It turned out that Eliza had urgent news to share, news that required the Washingtons' immediate attention. Eliza, you thought it was going to be Ona, didn't you? Eliza had fallen in love with a man named Thomas Law and wanted to be married as soon as possible. Wasn't it wonderful? Oh, it's so wonderful. Ona could tell from the Washingtons' reactions that they did not think it was wonderful. And anyway, Ona would have her own private reaction. Eliza Custis had been a mean girl her whole life. She would be just the kind of person who would swoop into Martha's life right when she was planning a big party for her husband, so that everyone would have to think about Eliza instead of George. Soon, Ona would learn why, specifically, Eliza's news was not welcome. Eliza was 19 years old. Thomas Law was 38. Strike one. Thomas Law was a British citizen who lived in India for many years. Strike two. Thomas Law had several mixed race children. Oh, look at this. Even though he was not married. Strike three. You're out. You're out of here, batter. Thomas Law had moved to America when he'd learned about the creation of the new federal city. Thomas, like many people called speculators, believed that if he purchased some of the swampy land near the Potomac cheaply enough, it would rise in value once the federal city was up and running. He bought hundreds of acres of land in Northern Virginia. He was sure he was going to be rich. When he'd been buying up land, he'd met Eliza Custis. It is unknown whether he knew in advance that she was the step-granddaughter of the president. Eliza knew that her marriage would need to be approved by the president. Perhaps this was why she asked her grandparents to wait to make a decision about this union until they heard from Thomas Law directly. He would, she told them, be writing them a letter very soon. Out of all the strikes against Thomas Law, the most disturbing one was that he was a British citizen. If Eliza married him, he could force her to move to England, the country George had vanquished. Then again, this was Eliza. Stubborn, rash, unkind, argumentative Eliza had left a strong impression with many people, and it wasn't a good one. Family members described Eliza as follows. In her taste and pastimes, she's more man than woman. and regrets that she can't wear pants. Perhaps of all Eliza's unbecoming personality traits, her biggest flaw was that she was known to be unkind. Ona, as usual, kept her mouth shut. When George received Thomas Law's letter, shortly after receiving Eliza's, he discussed the potential marriage with Martha. After much discussion, which Ona might have heard, they decided to approve the union. George responded to Eliza's letter with the following: if Mr. Law, quote, if Mr. Law is the man of your choice, of which there can be no doubt, as he has merits to engage your affections, and you have declared that he has not only done so, but that you find after a careful examination of your heart, you cannot be happy without him, that your alliance with him meets my approbation. In other words, yeah, okay, cool, no problem. And that's the end of that quote. Technically, George had lied. Thomas Law's alliance with Elijah did not meet his approbation. He did not like Thomas Law. He wished that Eliza would not marry him, but he and Martha had decided it was not worth the trouble to disagree with their tempestuous granddaughter for all intents and purposes. It seemed that the Washingtons had come to terms with Elijah's rash marriage plans. And while early America was very different from modern day America, there was one impulse that remains strong to this day: gossip. The fact that Martha Washington's granddaughter was marrying someone 20 years older from another country, and the fact that she was doing it so quickly, was a source of great interest. Even John Adams, the vice president, wrote to his wife Abigail about Elijah's upcoming marriage, saying that Martha had told him the news in a humorous style. Even though Mr. Law has 2 children, both born in India, but of whom is not explained. Over the years, Martha had taught herself how to behave publicly as if her entire life were perfect, even when that wasn't true. She was not happy about Eliza's marriage and was constantly trying to figure out a plan to protect her granddaughter from what she felt was a horrible decision. Yet in public, she acted as if she could not be more pleased about the wedding, telling all who would listen about the event and the preparations. Only the people closest to her knew how upset she really was. Ona was one of those people. What she did not know yet was that she would be part of Martha's plan. Well, I don't know what kind of plan Martha has afoot, but Martha's got some kind of plan in mind. And in the meantime, oh children of mine, y'all know what time it is. It's time for all you little children out there to lay your little heads down on your little pillows, on your little bed. Close those eyes and wait for that big old sun to rise. And when you feel those sunbeams beaming down on your eyes, you know for sure it's time to rise and shine and greet the new day in a whole new way. In the meanwhile, stay tuned to Black Facts. We got more coming at you. We're going to be moving on to a new holiday on Moon Day. I'm not sure what holiday we're going to move on to. I've got a few ideas on the list. Oh, one of them I know I want to discuss. I want to get into Emancipation Day. I thought it was called Jubilee, but I didn't find anything about that. But I did find something about Emancipation Day. So we'll have some emancipation stories for you come Moon Day. And in the meanwhile, everybody have a good night. And right before we take flight, we're just going to say goodbye to Connie and Sledge. And I saw, who else was out there? White Dove. Who else is out there? Who else? I see somebody else out there. Oh, wait a minute. Get out of there. Who else is there? Oh, stop doing that. Oh, Tony. Hey, Tony. What's going on? And, there we go. And DeMario. All right, good to see y'all. Have tuned in for the evening. We're gonna tie this up with a bow and say good night. We will go ahead and just repeat our proverb for today. Penye nia pana njia. Where there's a will, there's a way. We got the will, and we hope you'll help us make a way by going ahead and giving us a like tonight, a thumbs up, and if you haven't done it already, sign up, subscribe to the Tubular Black Facts channel, and don't forget to share what we're doing here with the people you see over there, your friends, your family, and even some of your enemies. See if you can turn them into some frenemies instead of enemies. Peace out, y'all. This is Doc Ock signing off. We'll be black tomorrow at noon. Look for us then. Whoops.